I put up this poll on my Instagram to see where do you want to be? What's your preferred situation? And the top two choices are a production company with freelancers or a freelancer with gear. I'm currently the latter. I'm a freelancer with gear, but I really wouldn't mind being just a freelancer and bringing his brain to set. If I was just hired as a DP and then they hand me the camera rig of choice for that day, I could see that being much easier for my life workflow, because right now I'm caught in the trap. I keep buying gear for the jobs that I need, and I've been able to really save a lot of money by niching down into corporate work and dock work. When I was doing everything, I had all the gear, and now it has made such a financial difference to say I'm going to do this type of work. Interviews and B-roll. That usually means an A camera on sticks, and most of the time I rent the B camera that's on a gimbal. But when I was trying to do every single other project, I would have to buy something or rent something every single time. So there's no right or wrong answer. I've seen people with massive salaries from each of these options, but I definitely think you need to pick one. So which one would you pick? I don't know if you can hear that, but there's a Puerto Rican parade happening and all these roads are closed down, and I'm at FedEx because I need to pick up some rental equipment. The only problem is, because of that parade, FedEx just decided to close. The gear I rented is inside there, and they're closed tomorrow on Sunday, and I have to leave tomorrow for the trip. And I don't know why I have a flat tire, but I do. So I guess my option is to and now it's raining. Rent a camera and Road Go from Adam. He's about to leave tomorrow for a trip to North Carolina, so I have to get it tonight. It's just, I did the tough work of renting it, but it's just... Now I have an A7S III, the Road Go 2s, and an extra battery. It's a rental from Adam, so my rental from Lens Rentals is a wash, and I'm gonna have to pay for two. This is a wireless keyboard. I don't really need this, but our teleprompter is an iPad app. And I was looking at remote controls to control it. They all had horrible reviews, but you can control the app with a keyboard, and a keyboard sounds like it'll have a lot more compatibility than some third-party remote. This is by Logitech. It had good reviews, so this is what we're gonna be using tomorrow. This was kind of a forced purchase, which I don't really enjoy, but now that I have this retainer client, I frequently need more lights than the few that I have. So I decided to just buy one instead of renting. I'll rent the smaller stuff, like these, because I need these for this client. But the bigger stuff, now I will own. So that means I will have a 300C, a light panel from Gina Ray, a 1x1. That takes V-mount, this does not. A 200X, which is great for bicolor, and then a 60D. So those are my four fixtures at the moment. And I think I'll be able to handle like pretty much everything that I need. But it's just, I just came in from, where was I? San Francisco last night. The meetup went great. And now I'm packing to go to Miami tomorrow. So it's just a lot, and I need to stay on top of everything, including all of the texts, admin work, emails, invoices. Like, there's a lot to stay on top of, and it's gonna quickly slip through the cracks unless I take the time to really stay on top of it. I kind of showed it in the last vlog or a couple vlogs ago, but that's the AOD hoodie that they gave me, and then a hat, which I don't think they sell this stuff, so it is cool, and then a little thank you. So they're gonna open up doors, I think at the end of the month. I'll be doing my affiliate program again, where you get like, I don't know, 40% off or something. And yeah, just got back, and now batteries are charging. Need to pack up and go tomorrow.
He normally drives this giant truck filled with gear, but his truck broke down, so he crammed a week's worth of gear into his Subaru WRX. Full-on David Moorfield style. It was quite impressive.
Loading up my girlfriend's car for 2 days of work in South Florida, and there's just so much room available. I don't want a crossover SUV style like this, but it has a lot of perks. I would maybe consider like a Subaru Crosstrek, but I love just having my Subaru Coupe, my BRZ. But I'm not gonna deny that this would be a massive increase in square footage, volume to transport gear, which could also be a problem. The more room I have, I know I'm gonna fill it up with more gear. If I have a small car, I just can't bring anything, so I'll take jobs that can't bring anything. Ideally, I would love to just have my camera bag, which is back in my apartment, and a shoulder pad and a good zoom lens. I would love to just do all jobs that only required those things. Oh, and since my job is just going from the driveway to a house or driveway to a studio, I'm only using this cart to transport from my apartment door to the car door. So this is still a huge asset to have just for that little walk. I'm kind of going back on what I've said earlier. I don't like retainer clients, but I am picking one up, and I'm just trying to make it work for me. So it's limited travel, it's very good pay, and I'm just kind of seeing how this situation works out. One of the cool things about having this retainer client in South Florida is I get to try out all these different hotels and build up my Marriott Bonvoy points account eventually to get a big vacation somewhere. So when you get the Amex Platinum, they automatically upgrade you to a Gold Elite. So when I checked in, I got some wine and a cookie, and I can get upgraded if they have availability, which they don't. But this one is a Marriott Residence Inn, so they expect customers who are going to be here a little longer, and so the room accommodates for that. So dedicated workspaces, full-size refrigerators, king size like normal, and decent view. This is the space we're going to work with and basically transform today. We're going to have to do some green screen here. We're going to do a couple shots here, and then some product placement shots here. So a lot of gear to bring in. I have to do green screen so much that I'm actually getting better at it. One thing is an extra 300C would be very helpful right now. Also, using false color allows me to see how even my spread is. It just allows me to be much more technical. So character in the middle, they'll probably cut out that lower illuminated areas in the corners. That's not a big deal. And then when I asked a buddy, what do you do for green screen? He said, well, you always try to give the subject a rim just to make that key as clean and crispy as possible. So I just hand this footage off. Whoever is editing this will probably be happy that they'll be able to have a clean edge. Oh, this came off during transport. I need that. As soon as I finish production, I go straight to lens rentals. Next week, I have 5 days of corporate work, so I'm going to be renting, finally, the 28 to 135 and seeing how it works. I'm not going to use my Sony system for this stick mic, like a news reporter stick mic. I'm going to just try this one, see how it works, and then this type of corporate work, you're always running through convention centers, meeting rooms, and grabbing quick interviews. So I'm going to put my 60D on a very lightweight stand and use this light box just to soften it a tad. Now for day 2 in a studio. Like I said, this is only 2-day productions. I really like that part of this retainer. This is the second time we've shot in the studio, and I am very comfortable booming this 300C because it is it is not on my gear. It is on one of the studio supplied boom arms, and I trust that way more than the $90 impact boom stand that I have. That is not something I would feel comfortable. The 300C is a little heavier than this 200X that I'm using. See, that is the boom I normally use, and I'm okay with that. But once you start adding a lantern, a heavier light, it's just nice to be able to walk into the studio and know that I have a ton of gear that I can access. So back on the behind me, there is a ton of stands, bounce boards, flags, sandbags. It's that softbox was theirs, not even mine. So that's probably something I need to buy too. And this is the only type of retainer that I could take. One, I know other people have multiple retainers. They like the consistency, but for me, just having this one retainer client 2 dates a month is already a lot of mental bandwidth. I couldn't imagine having different clients, multiple retainers. I know a lot of people want to have a retainer set up where they can send someone else. This is not that situation. They have voiced many times, we like working with you. We don't want you to send someone else. So that wouldn't work in the situation. And honestly, like I said, just one retainer, I can handle this for the time being. All right, now we have to grab an outdoor scene, but it just rained. It's humid. It's disgusting right now. This is a busy street, so I don't know how easy this is gonna go. Just camera and then some light as fill. I'm gonna put it here. We have 2 characters talking to each other, so this is just gonna add a little bit more directional light coming in. But yeah, it's gross right now.
Wait, you won't feel deprived, and yeah, you may start looking a lot more like me too. Now, this is great news for people predisposed with weight gaining genetics.
I'll circle back to that original question. Which one of those 4 categories is the ideal situation for you? Not the one you're in now, but your ideal situation. Is it a production company with employees and structure and healthcare for them? Because that's expensive. Is it a production company with just freelancers, a company of one, and we bring in people that we need? Or are you a freelancer with gear or a freelancer with no gear? I'm really curious what you guys say. The cool part about this retainer job is we're going to be going down to South Florida twice a month, and I get to check out all these new places that I wouldn't be able to normally because we scheduled an extra travel day at the end. So this is Florida's only beach with rocks on the beach. And if you've been to Puerto Rico, that is exactly what it looks like when you get to certain parts of their coastline. This is actually a refuge for when ships would wreck. They could come here and the survivors could get food, shelter, and all that stuff, but now it's a museum.